Thank you, Dr. Miriam. We already have our third keynote speaker today, who is going to deliver his talk on calcium and phosphorus sources uses in poultry feed. Uh, Dr. Subash Shrestha. Let me introduce uh, Dr. Shrestha. Uh, Raised in a family whose prime business was directly related to poultry business, he has got a family bond attachment with the poultry business, and following the family set trend, he earned a bachelor's of veterinary science in animal husbandry from Institute of Agriculture and Animal Science on 2003, Tribune University. Then after he associated with the feeds and poultry and have gained experience in poultry husbandry and medicine. He has a master's in business administration degree from USA in 2009. Since then till now, he has been associated with Anmol Feeds as senior technical advisor and has been directly involved in designing ration for poultry. He has gained much in-hand experience in poultry feed formulation and feed milling by his involvement in the production process and several national and international trainings and seminars. Besides this, he has the professional experience of serving as vice president of Nepal Veterinary Association Chittagong chapter and also the president of Nepal Veterinary Association province number 3. And now he is currently executive committee member at the prestigious Nepal Veterinary Council. So Dr. Shrestha, please proceed ahead with your presentation.
Hello. Sound Ira, sir?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Hello, very good afternoon, and I'm very sorry due to the I was unaware that I was scheduled for yesterday, so sorry very much for inconvenience. As been told, I have a bachelor's degree in veterinary science, and not like I'm academics. Like I'm not a well decorated, like very prestigious decorated in the poultry science, something like that. Whatever I'm going to speak here is all my experience and then my in-hand experience. I just I want to share about that. And today I got the topic for how to share the screen. Hello.
Yeah, I think you can share screen. I have made you co-host already. So,
okay.
Is there share screen appearing on your screen? Share screen button.
Yes, share screen.
Yes. You first open the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, I've opened
it.
Yeah. Now it's seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, seen. Yeah.
So today I'm going to talk about this calcium and phosphorus. Calcium and phosphorus generally comes under the mineral. So if you talk about the minerals, minerals is divided into macro and micro minerals. And generally under the macro minerals, it comes the calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, chlorine, and potassium. It is already shown in the slide, I guess. It's a micro mineral: manganese, iron, copper, zinc, iodine, selenium, cobalt. Right. And then comes and today we're going to talk about calcium and phosphorus. That's what is focused. I'm not so much with the PowerPoint. So calcium under the micro minerals, our generally is a main concern. Our prime concern is calcium and phosphorus. So here I'm going to talk about calcium. The major function of the calcium is obvious. It's well known that it is for the skeletal systems. It is mainly a component of the skeletal systems for growing chickens and as well as laying chicken also. But moreover, the skeletal systems in laying chickens, it is mostly used for the egg cell synthesis also. And as we already know, the egg cell is composed of the calcium carbonate, so more of the calcium is used in the egg cell formations. And beside the skeletal systems and egg cell synthesis, calcium is also important for blood clotting. Calcium, along with sodium and potassium, required for normal heart rhythm and maintaining acid-base balance in body. And also it is required for the activity of number of enzyme systems. Calcium is involved in the number of enzyme systems. Also is calcium, as we already know, mostly the veterinary students or medical students, it is calcium is also essential for the transmission of nerve impulse, and also calcium is required for the contractile properties of muscles. And yeah, we have been talking about the calcium's importance of calcium, and more of the calcium is might be toxic to the body. And here we have to consider the factor of the toxicity of the calcium also. High level of calcium in plasma either influence of phosphorus balance and or the structure of the kidney. High level of calcium will influence its phosphorus balance, and also the structure of kidney will be deteriorated with high level of calcium. And most signs and moreover, high level of calcium might cause the like phosphorus deficiency. It will bond with the phosphorus and excreted by the urine. So we have to consider on this fact, we have to consider that we should provide the optimum level of calcium so that it won't get the phosphorus deficiency. Sometimes the phosphorus deficiency will also cause the calcium deficiency problem, the calcium-like deficiency problem in the chickens. And high level of calcium also will increase the pH, and the increase in pH in the gut will affect in the solubility of other minerals, and even the digestions of the nutrient. It also affect on the digestive of the nutrient also. And in the growing pullets, abnormally high level of calcium can cause urolithiasis. Being the veterinarian, probably have observed this kind of problem in the growing pullets. And next, we are talking about the phosphorus. Phosphorus is another single macromolecule in the in poultry nutrition. And the skeletal systems of the poultry, it contains 80% of the phosphorus in the body. I'm just talking about the skeletal systems of the body, not about the whole body. And the major functions of the phosphorus is major component of skeletal system, as I told, calcium and phosphorus combined they make the major component, is a major constituent of the skeletal systems. And also the phosphorus helps in the muscles coordinations, and also it is important role in carbohydrate, amino acid, and fat metabolism also. And and it is also majorly utilized for as the fatty acid and other lipid transportations. And it is also part of nucleic acid and DNA. And phosphorus is the components of more of the coenzymes. And it is also used on the storage and transfer of energy phosphorylated compounds of glucose and its derivatives such as ATP and creatine phosphates. And requirement of for calcium and phosphorus. Calcium and phosphorus interact with each other, so they are expressed in ratios. Probably while looking about like poultry handbooks or some poultry nutritional book, you will see there will be written the calcium and phosphorus ratio. Excess of either of the mineral, because it's just in certain ratios. The excess of any of the minerals might cause like a deficiency of one minerals. High level of calcium and phosphorus affect performance of cause environmental contaminations. In Nepal, it is not much of the concerns, but in in developed countries, high level of phosphorus in the excreta is a major environmental concerns, and farmers has to uh, has to optimize the excretion of phosphorus or concentration of phosphorus in the their excreta. So that's why they are going for the ideal ratios of calcium and phosphorus, and so they won't exceed the ratios. Ratios, as commonly we have seen that for young chick or growing chick, calcium or available phosphorus ratio is 2:2.1 or 3:1. For layers and breeder ratios depends on the production amount in the ratio of feed consumption. There I have given the ratios like 2 to 2.1 or 3 2.13 or 1 is on the growing pullet, but in the laying birds the ratios might go higher, and then the ratio you have to set it up according to the production of the bird. And here I have it's just an example. Sometimes you have to go with your own experience to fix the calcium and phosphorus level also. But but you have to follow the some base basic requirement of calcium and phosphorus. Just I have taken out the examples here, like the in feed type, it's for the broiler. Starter, you have to go like 0.90, zero point 0.4, it's calcium, and 0.545 percentage is phosphorus. But if you go on the cob like a new cob manuals, phosphorus might come bit higher than this 0.45. Probably the broiler now are growing very rapidly, and to maintain their structural integrity or skeletal systems, probably they have gone higher side in the phosphorus aspect. And in the grower side it's 0.84, and phosphorus 0.42, as it's already shown in the slide. And in the below table, I have I've gone quite precisely on the male and female side. There are four types of feed: starter, grower, finisher one, and finisher two. And then if you like raise the broiler with the male and female separately, then the requirement for the male is 1.01, 0.91. And then in available phosphorus, as you seen, the male will grow rapidly, so the phosphorus percentage in the male is in the higher aspect, it's 0.41, 48, and then in its female is 0.43. And in grower, as you see, is a 0.43, and in female is 0.38. So for the higher growing birds, you need to give the higher level of phosphorus and calcium. And then here I've given for the layers. Layers as in the beginning stage, they are not producing egg, or they are not in production stage. So the calcium will be 1, and available phosphorus will be 0.45. For starter 2, so calcium is 1, and again the available phosphorus 0.44. But in generally, if you consider in Nepal, like starter 1 and starter 2 is the same feed, because we tend to produce the like 3 kinds of feed, or some farm may go for like 4 types of feed with the pre-layer in considerations. But in Nepal, starter 1 and starter 2 is the same feed we have been feeding to the layers, as per my knowledge. So you can maintain the calcium level 1, and available phosphorus is 0.45%. And in grower is not of much difference. Its calcium is 1, and then available phosphorus 0.43. And prelay at this time of period, that you tend to store the calcium level in the bird, in the birds. Like you want to grow the medullary bone. So for that sake, the reserve of calcium might require in the production time. So that's why you tend to give a high level of calcium in the pre-lay birds. It's a 2.70, and available phosphorus 0.448. And then again there comes the like production period. That is differentiated in picking, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. So here in the picking time, the feed consumption might come less. Feed consumption won't be that much, because it's just started from the developer to picking layers. So here you have to increase the concentration level. Uh, that what I'm telling about from my experience. So calcium level is a bit higher, is 4.29, and available phosphorus will be 0.50. And then the feed consumption keeps on increasing after that. So calcium level will be 4, and available phosphorus will be 0.40. And layer 3, layer 4, yeah, their body size will tend to increase. So with their body size, we have to increase in the calcium level also. It's calcium 4.18, available phosphorus 0.36, and then layer 4 is 4.21, and available phosphorus 0.33. Seeing this, you have seen here the like 1, 2, 3 is 8 types of feed. But generally in Nepal, you only tend to you want to make it simple, raising the layers. So here there are only 3 types of feed commercially available. And if you are making your own feed for the layers, then probably you can go for like starter, grower, starter, developer, pre-lay, and picking, and then after pick feed. So generally there are 4 types of feed, or 5 types of feed in the 5 types of feed you will make it for the layers. You don't have to like complicated the things much. This is only the manual, and I've extracted this data from the manual only. And then I've given it for the breeder also, and it is a breeder. I have extracted this table from the top 500 breeder management supplementation, and then it's the same as a starter is 0.95, 0.45, or 0.95. It's phosphorus is 0.42, and developer is a 16 to first egg. It is said that it is 1.2 in calcium, so it's all given in the table. You can refer the table, or you can refer the COB manual also. There, I have taken out this table just to make you know about the importance of calcium and phosphorus. Here also, like by your experience, you can sort out the feed, how many types of feed you need to produce. You will be producing. You have to fix it in the prior of the design of the feed, or you raise the flux. So you have to think priorly. And availability of calcium and phosphorus. So generally, about designing the feed, most ingredients are cereals. Cereals are still a byproduct. A poultry diet generally contains higher amount of cereal grains, as already shown. Like in years, almost 85% will be cereal or cereal byproducts. In broiler, almost like 95%, 98 or 90%, 94, 98% will be cereal and their cereal byproduct. Considering the cereal, it will be like corn, rice, wheat, or byproduct will be like rice bran, de-oiled rice bran. So it's already given approximately 98% in broiler diet are cereals, and 80% of layers diet are in layers are cereal. So if you want to supplement the calcium and phosphorus only from the cereals or cereal byproduct, then your poultry diet will be deficiency in calcium and relatively high in phosphorus, and they are very low in calcium. But relatively high in phosphorus as compared to calcium. But phosphorus in the cereals diet are not all readily available. It's a total phosphorus. There it is higher in the cereals, but if you consider the fact that it is in bound form, most of the phosphorus in the cereal are in phytate form. It is non-available to birds, and available parts are very less compared to the phytate phosphorus in cereals grain. As you can see, I have taken out examples of some cereals, how much calcium and phosphorus is available. Like you can see in corn, is a calcium percentage is 0.04, and the total phosphorus I'm talking about is not about the available phosphorus. I'm talking about the total phosphorus, 0.2. Among that 0.17 gram percentage of phosphorus is not available to birds. So you should not confuse with the available total phosphorus in the cereal, because all of that total phosphorus is not available to bird. It is in the bounded form. It's in the phytate form. So 0.17 is in the phytate form. It is not available to birds at all. So only the available phosphorus in the corn will be 0.05 percentage. So basically, and generally it is given in the rice bran also. In rice bran, among the 1.42 percentage of total phosphorus, 1.21 percentage in bound form. 0.21 percentage is only available for the birds. Here I have given most of the commonly used cereal concentration of calcium and phosphorus and their phytate percentage and available phosphorus percent. Here you can see of the DORB. DORB is a de-oiled rice bran. One rice bran is not de-oiled, and other is de-oiled rice bran. And soya, MDOC is mustard de-oiled cake, and BR rice, broken rice, and the sunflower. And other generally vitamin D3 is not a source of calcium and phosphorus, but it will help in the absorption of calcium and phosphorus in the body. Generally, vitamin D3 is available in the cholecalciferol and 25 hydroxycholecalciferol. As it is already mentioned, not to be considered as the direct source of calcium and phosphorus, but it will help in the absorption of calcium and phosphorus. Low level of if you are like administering low level of vitamin D3, then you have to increase the dietary and calcium phosphorus level to optimize the level of calcium and phosphorus level in the bird's diet. Generally, if you say the functions of vitamin D3 is development of younger chicks, it is very a major factor in the development of younger chicks, and it will also require for optimal egg production and good egg cell quality and good hatchability also, and also is carry over to the chick. Generally, the vitamin D3 in the parent stock, if you supply it, supplement the enough of vitamin D3, it is the level of vitamin D3 will be carry over to the chicks also. Generally, you might have seen the cases that chicks are not able to take the like eggs. It can break the eggs and come out. It might be one of the reason might be the lower level of vitamin D in the chicks. So like it is very important to supplement the parents with the vitamin D3 with enough, and it will carry it over to the chicks. Yeah, as I have already shown that the sources of calcium and phosphorus I have shown in the cereal part, and this is vitamin D3 and phytase. As I've already told before that phosphorus in the cereal diet uh, is considerably very higher aspect than in the level of calcium in the calcium. But I've told that the phytase phosphorus is also available in the one type of phosphorus is in the phytate, and other is available phosphorus. So phytate is bound; it's not available. So to release that phytate from the bounded form, so you need to put the you need to supplement the external enzyme in the feed. So to break that bounded form of phytate, you will use the phytase. It is the enzyme. It is not a direct source of calcium and phosphorus, but it will help to release that bounded phosphorus from the cereal grain. As I will told, is the most of the phosphorus from the plant source is in phytate form and unavailable to bird to utilize. Average phytate in the poultry diet is about 10 gram per kg. So what the phytase do is phytase hydrolyze the phytate and release phosphorus and calcium, other minerals, and many other nutrient factors. Generally, you might, if you have heard about the phytase, you might consider it for only the calcium and phosphorus matrix value, but uh, phytase will help to release other minerals and other many nutrient factor also, like lots of amino acids, and also now it's also considered to release some of the energy. It will enhance the energy contribution from the raw material also. Amount of release of phosphorus, calcium, and other nutrients depends on the dose of phytase. High dose of phytase has made the substantial improvement in bird performance. And phytase activity is expressed in phytase units. Generally, if you see if somebody talk about the phytase, they will talk about the phytase units also, FTU. So you have to know how much FTU unit is working on phytase. One phytase unit is one phytase generally, if you study one phytase unit is defined as the amount of enzyme that liberates 1 micromole of inorganic phosphorus per minute in from 0.051. It's like the definition of a phytase, one phytase unit. Applications. Generally, phytase comes with their own matrix value. But here I have only considered the matrix value for phosphorus and calcium. But if you see the detailed matrix value of the phosphorus, it has given for the matrix value for the amino acids and even energy and even other minerals like sodium and potassium, potassium. But here's I'm talking about only calcium and phosphorus. So I'm giving here only the matrix value for the calcium and phosphorus only. So 500 generally in the market you'll get the phytase with the 500 FTU per kg or 10,000 FTU. So if it's the 500 FTU of phytase, then if you put 100 gram per ton, this I've taken it from the AV Vista. It's a quantum blue. You can consider other phytases are also available in the market, good quality of phytase. So you can so you have to take out their own matrix value or you have to ask the company for their own matrix value. It's not a generalized matrix value. It's only for if you are using quantum blue of 500 FTU per kg. It's the matrix value for only that product. So it's a if it's 500 FTU per kg with 100 gram per ton, available phosphorus will be 1500, and available calcium percentage will be 1650 percentage. And then it's the 750 FTU kg means 150 gram per ton, and accordingly available phosphorus percent is also different. It's a higher level. It's a 1167, and available calcium will be 1280. It's 1000 FTU. It's a 200 gram per ton. That will be available phosphorus will be 975, and available calcium percentage will be 1075. uh, and this is the for the layers, and this one is for the layers matrix value at different inclusion rated in poultry. Here I'm all talking about the 5000 FTU. So it's 100 gram will per ton will be like available phosphorus percentage it will get release will be like 1500, and available calcium percentage is 1650, and then it's all on the pullet, and then in the layers are breeder at the laying time is 500 FTU per kg. So it is different matrix value for the pullet and then in the layers at the laying period of the birds. So 500 FTU 100 gram per ton will release available phosphorus percentage will be 2500, and available calcium percentage will be 2750, and 150 gram available phosphorus will be 1945, and available calcium percentage will be 2135, 1000 FTU 200 gram per ton, it's a 165, and the available calcium percentage is 1790. And considering our direct source of calcium and phosphorus, now the meat and bone meal is banned in Nepal. It's not readily available, but still before we used to consider it as the main prime source for the calcium and phosphorus, and also for the protein. And so MBM here I'm considering like 45 to 50% of CP, means like MBM with the availability of 45 to 50% of CP. This calcium will be 11.43, and phosphorus is 5.79, and and then other one is for there are three types of MBM, like some with like 45% of crude protein, and someone will be the like 50% of crude protein. And so I've given the calcium and phosphorus metrics of the all three MBMs. It is as you can see, the first one is of calcium 11.3, phosphorus 5.79. So digestibility in poultry of the MBM generally 62%. It's not higher digestibility. And then other is like bone meal. It is only the bone meal. It's so there will be no meat part in the on this. It is just like bone part of the bone part only. So in that the calcium will be 23 and phosphorus will be 11. Ratio will be 2.09. And other sources like this is basically a source of calcium only. It's not source of the phosphorus. Oyster cell, हामीले नेपालीमा सिपी नि भन्छौँ हैन. It's a calcium organic source. Oyster cell is calcium organic source only, and generally the oyster is in calcium carbonate form, and the calcium percentage will be 36.4%. If we talk about the properties, is in oyster shell, if you get in the oyster shell form, not in the powder form, it is very easy to distinguish from the impurities, because you can distinguish it visually, and then their impurities, and differentiated from the other feed ingredients. So birds selectively pick the oyster shell for the calcium balance. As the bird can differentiate the oyster shell from other feed meal ingredients. If it's just I'm talking about if it is not in the powder form, like it will distinguish from other feed ingredients. So the bird can select the oyster shell for their to ingest for their calcium balance. Efficacy depends on the purity of materials, of course. So like if more pure the oyster shell will be, the more efficient it will be, and more available to birds it will be. And particle size is very important for its effective use as feeding ingredients. particle size is like if you are feeding it to the laying birds, slow release of calcium is most important, because if it is readily absorbed in the intestine, then it will be readily excreted. Calcium cannot retained on the intestine for a long time. So for the retain time, to increase the retain time, you have to increase the particle size also. So for the layers feed, it is most important to consider the particle size for the oyster shell also. And another source for the calcium is not a source for the phosphorus. And so I'm talking, this limestone is also the source for the calcium. It's calcium in organic source only, and gray to white in color, and calcium carbonate form. Calcium percentage varies 30 to 37 percentage, and Mg content should be less than 0.4 percentage, and then sand and silica should be less than 3 percentage. Here I'm talking about sand and silica less than 3 percentage means if the lesser the three sand and silica, lesser will be the stability and the purity of the limestone, and this will affect on the calcium percentage also. And the limestone is the most cheapest source of the calcium as compared to the oyster shell also. And oyster shell is like expensive product, and limestone is comes cheaper than the oyster shell. So like so you might consider using, you can use the limestone with the equal benefit as the oyster shell also. It is uh, as I've seen here, the benefit of oyster shell over limestone is debatable. Means you don't have to feed the birds with the oyster shell for the good availability. If you get the good quality of limestone with the price, it is with the cheapness of the price, or cheaper of the price. If you get the good quality of limestone, it works as equally as the oyster shell also. Uh, just oyster shell being organic, you cannot consider it as the better source of calcium. With given the economy of the feed, you can use the limestone with equal efficiency. So, as you know, the limestone is in the cheaper source of calcium, and there is a lots of chances of impurities in the limestone also. Either of the calcium source or soil most important in particle size. As I've told you that for the laying the particle size of the limestone or oyster shell is very important, because larger the particle, the longer will be the retentions, and longer retention means delayed release of calcium. For the laying birds, delayed release of calcium is very much important, because most of the egg cell is formed in the night time when the body is not feeding, and body is not taking any feed. They are in the rest time. So if in that particular time the calcium level will be less, then it will affect in the egg productions, and it will affect in the egg cell quality. Especially for the layers, the largest the particle size is the better. As I've already told you, combination of coarse, larger particle, fine particle is different as per ages. Here I have given the, here I have mentioned the how much fine particles or coarse particle has to be mentioned as per the age. Like starter or growing part, fine particles is fine. Like 100% of you can use the fine particles. It's a fine particles means it is considered 0 to 2 mm. And prelay, when it comes to the prelay, before the laying of, before the 2 weeks before laying eggs, you can mix the fine 50% and coarse particles 50%, and weeks is 70 to 37 weeks. You can considerably, here we are increasing the coarse particles as age pass by, or as they started the egg productions. Fine particles will be 40% and coarse 60%. And like in the peaking, 38 to 48 weeks means is peaking time. Again, we are increasing the coarser particles of the calcium source or limestone or oyster shell powder. So that will be, the coarse will be 65%, and fine will be 35%. And at the time of productions, at the peak productions, the coarse particles is much more greater. It is coarse is 70%, and then the later part of the productions, coarse particle is 75%. Coarse particle is only required for the longer retention of the calciums in the intestine. So it will delay release of the calcium, just because for that. So here I have taken the pictures of the this one is the for fine particles is 0 to 2 mm, and generally the uh, coarse calcium it is 2 to 4 mm. And here I have given the pictures, and you can see the measurement also. And beside the particle size of the limestones, generally, if considered to our feed, I consider the solubility of the calcium also. Uh, Solubility is checked by the adding limestone in hydrochloric acid in initial pH of 4. Ideally, 100% solubility is desired, but 100% solubility is desired because if you put on the like pH 4 of hydrochloric acid, it should be dissolved. 100% should be dissolved, but not in the instant movement, but it should be dissolved in a prolonged period of time. Here I have given like the quick test for the limestone quality. Solubility of limestone as measured at 0.1 normality is still 90 ml. A 10 gram of limestone is gradually added. Without stirring, pH measured after interval says 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30, and 60 minutes. We have to measure the pH after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30, and 60 minutes. And change in pH of plus 0.1, because after you add the limestone in the acid, obviously pH will be increased. So in the pH, if the additional of pH 0.1 relates to the 20% of solubility, if the pH changes by the two factor, means it's 99% of solubility. And higher solubility will be expected after 60 minutes. It should be like totally soluble. That will be good quality of limestones. Here I'm talking about the limestones for longer period. Is that due to because the limestone is very cheap and you need to have the better quality of limestones. As I've told, I've shown you that the limestone calcium varies to 30 to 37%. 32% limestones means like it has a lower level of calciums, and impurities will be higher level. Like limestone has a higher chances of the heavy metal toxicity, heavy metal contaminations. So the higher level of calcium means a low level of heavy metals constituent. And if the lower level of calcium means higher level of heavy metal uh, constituent. So you tend to have the limestones with a low level of heavy metal contamination. So you have to look for the calcium with higher level, because in your lab or surrounding lab there might not be the uh, not be like process to or equipment to measure the like other heavy metals. But if you consider only the calcium also, if it's the higher level of calcium, means it is highly digestible, highly efficient for the poultry feed. So that's why you have to consider the higher level of calcium. If it comes on the range also, if you go for the like more than 35 or 34% calcium, it will be better for your birds. Here I talked about the limestones, and then here is the inorganic phosphates. Under the inorganic phosphates, there comes the dicalcium phosphate, and now and the monocalcium phosphate. And I'm not mentioned here is the mono dicalcium phosphate is also available here and available now in the market. And but generally, most in evident term, we use the dicalcium phosphate more in Nepal in today's scenario. Dicalcium phosphate is, if in appearance, it is white to off-white in color, and is a powder free flow, and white granular is also available. And in DCP, is the calcium is to 24.5, and available phosphorus is 18.5. And generally it is considered as a digestibility phosphorus. We don't formulate the feed on the digestible phosphorus 8, but still considering this digestibility, the phosphorus digestibility is 70%. But till now we haven't formulated the feed on this basis, in digestible phosphorus basis. And if you want to like check for the DCP for your usage, you can check the feed in these terms. This one, I have the certificate of analysis of the DCP from one company. It's from India. Like if I get the DCP sample from anywhere, before checking the calcium and phosphorus, and I generally check for the acid insoluble as. It should be like less than 1%. Here is the NMT is not more than 1%, means generally I check for this acid insoluble as, and if it's more than like 1%, then I consider it of low quality, and if it is less than 1%, then it is of course it is of good quality. And then I go for the like phosphorus percentage. It should be on the, as Tom value 18%. 18%, it won't be equal to 18%, but it comes around 17.5 to 18.2, 18.3. And then I go for the calciums because I don't have like I don't have a procedure or equipment to check other minerals. So for me, as far it has worked very well. Just I only check for the acid insoluble as calcium and phosphorus. And if you want to check like abroad or some good lab, then you can check for all these factors in the lab, and then you can consider it as the good quality of phosphorus or inferior quality phosphorus. And next is a monocalcium phosphate. It is also inorganic phosphates. In appearance it is of white or gray powder or in granular form. It is slightly hygroscopic in nature, means it will slightly dissolve in the water. And calcium and phosphorus content will be calcium 18.9, and available phosphorus is much more higher than in DCP, is 21.4%. And then digestibility of phosphorus is 71%. But as I have found in some of the others like research articles, I found the digestibility of phosphorus in MCP is up to 90%, and also DCP, it is digestibility will be above 80%. But as far as I've taken out this digestibility from the Brazilian tables. So in the Brazilian tables, it is given the digestible phosphorus as 71%. It's not under. I've not done any research. It's just I've abstracted from the articles. So the digestibility, I have taken it out from the Brazilian tables. So as I've already told that we are just we are formulating the feed under the available phosphorus only till now. We have not considered the digestible phosphorus. So you have if you want to use the term, if you want to use this like data for in your feed formulations, just it's better to consider on the available phosphorus only, because till now digestible phosphorus data is also not like um, so confirmed and not so reliable data has been published for all the phosphorus source also. So you have to stick on the available phosphorus 8, and another source for calcium and phosphorus is skim milk powder. This one I have included because now the people are also considering using the skim milk powder for the chicks. So that's why I have included the skim milk powder also. So skim milk powder, the calcium will be 1.30%, and available phosphorus will be 0.90%. And I've just taken the example of the formulations. It's just a like example. You don't need to copy this formulations for your like layers. It's a sample L3 formulations. Here I have given the formulations: corn 592, rice bran 15, broken rice is 20, soybean meal 46% is 225, mustard DOC cake 15, and in limestone powder 105 DCP, and I've included the phytase also. It is not a direct source of calcium and phosphorus, though it will help to release the calcium and phosphorus from the ingredient you've been using. So I've included the phytase as calcium phosphorus also. And so the calcium as far I've got from the 592 kg of corn, I've got the calcium 0.024% percentage, that is 0.586%. It has contributed 0.586% of the total calciums I've used, and the contribution percentage is rice bran is 0.045, and you can see LSP 88% of the calcium is solely depend on the 88 on the LSP only, and so next to is DCP is a 4.75, means almost 5%. 5% it's from DCP, and then other third contributor is the phytase, is the enzyme. It has liberated calcium from the given ingredient by 4%. And if you consider about the phytase, phosphorus contribution from the phytase, it is 44% from the phytase. So phytase is very important to important enzymes, or you can use it as ingredients. Generally, it is enzymes. It is very important factor to include in your diet or in your feed formulations, because the 44% alone phosphorus contributor is phytase, and the phosphorus is one of the most expensive nutrients as far used in the feed And then the second contributor is 35% is DCP, and then and the other contributor of the phosphorus is soya, is 11%. So that's all is my presentations. Thank you very much. And then you have you got to learn from your own formulations, your own experience. You have to got to learn from them. And just these are only the basics you have to take while formulating your feed. But rest you will know from your own experience, and you have to use your experience to design the feed, because there are lots of knowledge, lots of lots of lots of knowledge around the market, and you will meet the lots of like scholar people. They will come up their own principles and own ideas, but it's up to you which ideas you will take over, and which ideas will be beneficial for you. That's only you. You have to you have to distinguish the what is good for you. So be your own master. This is the only basic idea. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shrestha, for your wonderful presentation and for your beautiful sharing of experiences. If anybody have any questions in their mind relating to this talk, please feel free. You may simply unmute yourself and ask the question to our keynote speaker. Any questions?
I think there's no questions. It's not so difficult topic also.
Okay. So once again, thank you very much, Dr. Shrestha, for being so generous and helpful to us on such a short notice. You gave us your valuable time, and I would like to thank to all the participants as well for their enthusiastic participation. We look forward to cooperating with you in future as well to disseminate the expertise, knowledge, and experience you have for the benefit of national and global livestock, poultry, and feed industry. Um, Tomorrow we are going to have 4 talks. Uh, Use of prebiotics and probiotics, organic acids, and essential oil in poultry feed, which will be delivered by Dr. Sushim Mukul Ray from Genex Animal Health. Likewise, Mr. Evan Priyadarsani from EW Nutrition will be dealing on 360-degree approach of sustainable feed milling solution and quality management. Analysis of raw materials and quality overview in field and lab. It will be dealt by Dr. Dinesh Bhosle from AV Vista, and Mr. Harjot Singh from Lark Engineering will be dealing about enhancing the feed performance through quality premix procedure. Thank you very much once again. Today, I would like to thank all the speakers for today's talk, Dr. Miriam, Dr. Subash. Thank you very much. Thank you all.